So by now, you've gotten a good 4 to 5 days of using the thought, I'm closed. That means what I'm thinking is not true and not going to happen. And what will be happening for you, hopefully, is your IGS, when you say that, in a closed state, begins to open. And you feel like more relaxed, right? And you feel able to settle down. Now, what most people experience at this particular junction is they close, they realize they're closed, but they can't remember what they were just thinking. Like the thought was there, but they can't recall it. So they don't know what they actually just closed to. And it really kind of looks like you're walking along and all of a sudden you go, ooh, I'm closed. No thought, you had no idea. Now, what I want you to know is that over time, this is like a muscle. You're going to get to know your thoughts really, really well, because working with your IGS is really about you knowing how your own mind works and what parts of it are true and what parts of it are not true. So I'm going to give you an example right now. And I apologize that it's really kind of North American centric, but I want to ask you this question. What color in the United States and Canada is a yield sign? Right? So Canadians, what color is an American yield sign? Did you think yellow or did you think red and white? Well, most people, believe it or not, think yellow. The yellow yield sign with the black writing on it that says yield. And actually, that yield sign was retired in 1946. And so what happens is we are still using that. It was a part of our consciousness, but in 1946 what they did is they went ahead and they created the red and white yield sign in order for it to be in alignment with a majority of the international standards out there. But people still produce and use the yield sign that's yellow and black. Now, how can that be? You've passed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of yield signs in your life, and it never updated the information. Your mind didn't go, hey, that's really now red and white. Now, give me an example of how prevalent this is in our society. About 2 months ago, I was watching Sesame Street with my son, which is a children's program here in the United States, and they used a yellow and black yield sign as part of one of their skits, a brand new skit that came out, yellow and black yield sign. So you'll see them on books, you'll see them in all kinds of artistic use, and the problem is that your brain doesn't have a way to update that information to tell you that that information is not accurate. Well, in your life, you have a ton of yellow yield signs. Things that when you were in the first 5 years of your life were true and that your mind made up, how you're loved, how you're successful, what's safe, what's not safe. And throughout your life, you're still carrying that 0 to 5 year old mentality as you age. Well, your IGS, part of its programming and what it's doing with you is letting you know when you have a yield sign, when you have a belief that's not true, when there's something that you think is scary and it's really not something you need to be scared of anymore. So as you're going through and using your IGS and you're getting these thoughts that you don't remember, what I want you to know is that over time you're going to get to know your mind, and not only that, that same thought is going to come back. Your mind is going to produce habitually the same kind of system over and over again. The same thought that closed you will come back. So you don't have to worry about it. Just go, oh, I'll just figure that out when it comes back around the next time. And at the same time, I want you to pay attention to when you have closings now and you do realize what you're thinking. Notice if you are able to trust your IGS or not. Okay? Notice whether or not when you feel closing and you look at your thought, if you have a thought suddenly saying, but that has to be true. Or I know that's the truth, because those are the yield signs, and that's what we want to capture next. Okay, so new practice. Now I want you, when you have a closing sensation, to start paying attention to what you're thinking. Start getting to know your own mind. All right, so I'll see you at the next video where I'm going to give you yet another tip on how this beautiful part of yourself works.
So what do you think about your internal guidance system? Isn't it pretty incredible? Well, if you want to go further and you'd love to check this out, go to fearfreehuman.com/start. We've got free resources for you to feel your IGS and start using it today.